Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
We'll start my video. Mr. Malinowski, are your intranet troubles resolved?
No, that's why I'm here with the beautiful Richland County background here.
Oh my gosh. Oh, let me check my clock. Okay, we still have 1 minute before we officially begin. So
Now they've given me the gracious time of Thursday to come out and look at it now.
well, hopefully they will get everything fixed.
Oh, I don't mind coming down here.
I'm sure everyone loves to see you.
That's why they all stay on the other side of the building.
That or COVID, I don't know. There are options. All right, according to my clock, it is now 1 o'clock. And so I will give Chairman Livingston a second for his audio to connect. Perfect. I will officially call this meeting to order. And just for my information, Miss Only or Miss Black, can we do a roll call just to see who all is here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Malinowski.
Here.
McBride. Livingston.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
And Newton.
Here. Thank you, Miss Only. And I did receive word from Miss McBride that she had a conflict today and was not going to be able to join us. So that brings us to the next item of business, which is the approval of the minutes.
So move, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the minutes. Miss Only, will you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Malinowski.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to the agenda that you have before us. Is there a motion regarding the agenda?
Move for adoption, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to adopt the agenda. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Only.
Yes, ma'am. Malinowski.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 4A, which is the clerk to council search update. We have joining us on our Zoom meeting today, Kristen Mack with Find Great People, who's going to just give us a short overview of the process and give us an opportunity to ask any questions.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me today. And thanks again for partnering with us on this search. We know how critical it is for you all to have the right person in this particular role. That being said, as most of you know, we have been going through our listening sessions to just get different thoughts and opinions about what we should be looking for. And then also, of course, about the job description itself. So thank you all so much for providing great detail in your thoughts around that. We do have a couple of more listening sessions to finish. Once we get those completed, we'll have a final final version for you all to consider and approve. I anticipate that happening by the end of the week. So we anticipate by Friday you'll have something in hand that you can deliberate on and vote on in your next meeting. So that being said, as we are finalizing the job description and position profile to be published, we also are, or I am also working with some staff members to start working on some sourcing efforts and preparation of being able to reach out to candidates once we have that finalized. So they're going to go ahead and start doing some legwork there so that we can move quickly. And so at first we will do exactly what we typically do for searches. We'll be spending a good bit of time reaching out to potential candidates, trying to generate interest, and then we'll go through our vetting process, which as some of you may remember from the last time we worked together, there are a few different phases of that. So we'll do some initial phone screens for those who seem as if they are a good fit. We'll move them through our either in-person or Zoom interactions, depending on where they're located. We'll be thinking through not only their background, but also just the way that they interact. We'll be thinking a little bit about fit in terms of their ability to handle all of the requirements of the position and really, you know, sort of the demand of the position. So we'll make sure that when we bring candidates to you, we feel like they are fully vetted. When we get through the vetting process, we'll present a candidate slate to you all for consideration, and we will begin the interactions with you all directly. So after we present candidates, you'll make a determination about whether or not you would like to engage with all of them, some of them, or if we somehow got it wrong, none of them. I don't anticipate that happening, of course, but we'll begin the process with you all, probably doing what you're accustomed to doing now with your meetings, use some sort of Zoom type interview for the first round, and then we'll keep moving people through the process. And if you depending on whether or not people want to meet candidates in person, we'll facilitate that. If you prefer to do everything by Zoom, we'll figure it out. You all can kind of let us know your comfort level on that. I know it's an interesting time. We're trying to be very flexible and dynamic to to what's best for our clients. But I anticipate probably having 2 rounds of interviews with you all. So the first round narrowing down to finalists, and then the final round, we can certainly add an additional interaction if you need more time with people before making a final determination. But we can decide that as we keep moving through the process and determining what is best for you all. So, great.
Thank you, Ms. Mack. Are there any questions?
I have two real quick questions. Ms. Mack, was the feedback you received from council members reference the job description helpful?
It really was. It was great. I think that I think most people seem to be very aligned with what we're looking for, which is great. That's always very helpful. And I think some people pointed out a few things within the job description itself that I think were helpful to be brought to my attention. And so some things that we can make changes relatively easily to get that final version to you. And again, that shouldn't take too long to have that ready this week.
Have you developed a time frame for us to work from as we move through the process to hire the
yeah. So based on my earlier discussions, just in kind of preparing to launch here, it seemed as if there's a lot of interest in hopefully having the process finalized before the end of the year. So with that being said, if that is sort of the end point that we're targeting, we would try to have candidates presented to you all by about the middle of November. So we'll be moving very quickly in order to facilitate that, because we want to give you enough time to have the interview process so that you can have an offer out to someone in December.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. Are there, Mr. Malinowski? Mr. Malinowski, you're muted.
Thank you. I thought I undid it, but okay, here we go. Based on Mr. Livingston's last question, I don't think we want to sacrifice speed for quality here, and I don't know where that came from, that we have to have or desire to have the process done by a specific time frame. I don't recall that coming out of the committee, so I'd like to make sure that, in my opinion, we take the time necessary to obtain the qualified candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski. And we certainly want to make sure that we do have the right candidate. So we would echo that as well. Are there any other questions or comments for Ms. Mack? I don't see any hands raised. Thank you. Then with that, thank you, Ms. Mack. You are, of course, welcome to join us for our entire committee meeting, or you're welcome to go off to other pursuits. That brings us, thank you, Kristen, I appreciate it. That next brings us to items 4B and 4C. 4B is compensation for the interim clerk to council. Item 4C is the 2020 county administrator evaluation next steps, where some council members had raised questions about compensation. Employee compensation is an executive session item, and both 4B and 4C contain compensation discussions. I would entertain a motion.
Move to go to executive session to discuss compensation, employee compensation matters.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to move to executive session to address compensation matters for items 4B and 4C on our agenda. Ms. Only, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Malinowski,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes. And Ms. Only, before you move us, Mr. Hannah, who is over our human resources, was going to join us, but I don't see him listed here. So perhaps when we move to executive session, you could reach out to him to make sure he has the information that he needs.
Yes, ma'am. I'll reach out to him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And are we being moved to the breakout room?
Yes, ma'am. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, Miss Newton?
Mr. Hannah, I'll check.
Yes.
We're actually in a breakout room. I will check with her to see if they need you to get to that room. So just hold tight.
Okay, I used your invitation. I never received one from Michelle.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right, I will notify the clerk that they're ready for you in the breakout room. So Miss Only, if you can hear me, Miss Newton said they are ready for Mr. Hannah in the breakout room.
So should I stay here or do I need to go somewhere else?
They will send you a little ticker and it'll say join the breakout room. Once you receive it, then you just press the button and it'll click on for you.
Now I'll receive that here, or is it going to be like an email or something?
No, it will be within the Zoom screen you're looking at.
Okay. Okay. I'll just stay here then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle is working to get you into the Zoom meeting, sir. Her computer was giving her some difficulties right now, but in a few minutes, she's trying to get you in.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Leave the breakout room. Leave the breakout. Leave the breakout room. Leave the breakout room. Oh, wow, gosh, I really wish y'all had come to me sooner. No, I think Mr. Smith
Miss Only, can you tell if everyone is back from executive session? It looks like we are all here. So we entered executive session to discuss items 4B and 4C, which were compensation items for 2 employees. I will entertain a motion to leave executive session.
So moved.
Actually, we don't have Mr. Livingston back,
Oh, no, we don't.
but is there a second
Second,
to leave executive session?
There he is.
second,
It's been moved and properly seconded to leave executive session. Ms. Only? If you could call the roll. Or there are not that many of us, I'm happy to do it. Mr. Malinowski?
Yep.
Mr. Livingston?
yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Myself, Ms. Newton, yes. Ms. Only, are you with us to count the unanimous yay vote? I'm happy to declare that that motion passes. We have left executive session.
Ms. Newton,
I will, yes,
I'm sorry, Ms. Only's having some issues with her microphone. She's unmuted, but it is not picking up her voice.
Shows it. mute.
okay. Yeah, Miss, there you go. Miss Only? It appears that she is still having that issue, so Miss Only, know that I can be reached by text, and I will monitor my text channel as well. So we have left executive session discussing items 4B and 4C. Are there any motions?
Madam Chair, motion reference item 4B. I move that we have the clerk's salary, interim clerk's salary calculated as discussed in executive session, and then we have a follow-up conversation after that with the clerk, interim clerk.
Thank you.
Second.
There is a motion. Thank you. There's a motion and a second to calculate the interim clerk to council's compensation as discussed in executive session. I will call the roll unless I hear Miss Only's voice. I believe I'm going in the correct. She's back. Could you call the roll, please?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Regarding item 4C, is there a motion? Mr. Malinowski?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we request information from the Human Resources Department as we discussed in executive session and have it brought back to our next employee evaluation oversight ad hoc committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Malinowski. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Miss Only?
Yes, ma'am. Malinowski,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Then with 4 minutes left, that brings us to 2 remaining items. We have item 4D, the 2021 administrative evaluation process. As we recall, when we had our last year's evaluation, we talked about the need to establish clear criteria that we were going to use for the 2021 evaluation process. Some of our colleagues suggested that we consider particular methodologies. I know that Mr. Jackson had suggested that we look at 360-degree feedback, for example. I don't know that we have time to have a fulsome discussion of that process, but did want to bring it to our attention that that's something that we need to map out so that everything is clear in the spirit of fairness. Is there any discussion that we want to have on that item right now, or do we want to defer that to our next meeting?
Now, can we get some? Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. I'm getting confused. Go ahead.
Then is the will of the body to defer this to our next meeting?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Only?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes. Mr. Malinowski, for rules and appointments, we need to discuss if for a small meeting, we can just say aye or nay for these votes. That brings us to our last item, item 4E, which was the county attorney draft position description. And that is just a quick update to let you know that our attorney has been in conversations with the consultant that we're working with at Find Great People. Mr. Smith and his office are working on reviewing both the statute and the position description to make sure that it encompasses everything that they would think would be appropriate. And once they have done that and signed off on it, they will submit that draft to our committee for approval. And that is the update on 4E. Any questions? Hearing none, that brings us to item 5. Are there other items?
If there are none, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion for adjournment.
Second.
Ms. Only? We have a
Malinowski,
motion for adjournment.
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes,
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good day.